Southeast Asia matters. And I wanted to ask you, Professor, do you think that the Chinese success is seen from a Southeast Asia perspective as an opportunity?
Definitely an opportunity, all right? But I think we must understand ASEAN and the ASEAN Free Trade Area that was established in the early 2000s. The objective was really to build a large market, one single market in a sense, right? Because this is a market with 650 million people, right? But I have to say, what was hoped and what happened, I would say maybe this is not kind of consistent, right? Because in my opinion, that idea of having a large market did not really materialize. Because if you look at this intra-ASEAN trade among ASEAN countries, it has never gone above 25%, right? And even within that 25%, most of the trade is among three countries, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, right? So I think in that sense, also a reason for this really is probably because these countries are very much have similar economic structure, right? So for example, they export pretty much the same thing, right? They export oil, they export commodities like palm oil, they export manufactured goods, chips, resistors, and so on. So in that sense, they were not complementing each other that much. But when you bring China into the picture, right, as a large market, not just as a supply chain that China, has been for many years, but also China as a consumption powerhouse today, definitely China is going to be a huge opportunity for businesses in Southeast Asia.
Thank you very much. So it leads us to a second very important question, the RCEP, because now we have this very important agreement, which is going to start to be a reality in several months. And I wanted to ask you, why do you think the RCEP is extremely significant?
If NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Area, or the US, Mexico, Canada, a trade agreement now, if that is for North America and the European Union is for Europe, then RCEP is for Asia, right? It is by Asia, for Asia. Now, really, it's a pity that India, pulled out towards the last minute, but India still has kind of an open door whenever they want to be part of this RCEP. Right now, RCEP is important because this kind of combines Southeast Asia, ASEAN, and then you have this very powerful Northeast Asia, right? Basically, China, Japan, South Korea, and then of course you have the Australia, New Zealand, right, in the south. It combines these three, let's say, economic centers of Asia together, right? Now, obviously, China already has a trade agreement with ASEAN, the China-ASEAN Free Trade Agreement. But I think one of the important things with RCEP is this China, Japan, South Korea combination, right? Because they have been trying for many years to have some kind of an agreement among the three, but I don't think this has progress to completion. But with RCEP, of course, it brings these three countries together as well into that into that common block, right? So obviously RCEP is about trade, it's about investment, it's even about IP, right? So in that sense, I think RCEP is a fantastic opportunity, definitely for businesses, but I think also we should look at RCEP as a way international relations can be managed within the region.
Thank you very much. Clearly, RCEP, these are four letters that we are going to hear again and again in the coming months, years, if not decades. This is extremely significant. And then a last question. What does it mean, this RCEP, for Western businesses? Would you see that as an opportunity for the Western businesses?
I would think that for Western businesses, European, American businesses, and other businesses, I think if they are already in Asia, this is going to be a big advantage to you, because it is about kind of combining markets. It's about rationalizing your supply chain and so on. You know, if you are not in Asia yet, in my opinion, you have missed the boat, right? So I think in that sense, and of course, many of these Western businesses are already operating, you know, either in China or Southeast Asia or in both places. I think for those companies, I think RCEP kind of, you know, ensures that not just the market is in a sense larger, but I think it is also about how they can rationalize their production in such a way that you have both the production basis and the consumption basis within one particular region.
Thank you very much for repeating again the fact that the Chinese economic reemergence is an opportunity for Southeast Asia, and for telling us that one needs to pay attention to this RCEP, very powerful new trade and investment agreement, and potentially also a bridge between the region and the West, because you mentioned Japan and Australia. So thank you very much for this very rich conversation.